everyone. We are live. How are you? Welcome, everyone. This is Finding Purpose with Shay. And it's so fantastic seeing everybody here. Thank you for everyone on Instagram. We're so happy you're here. Finding Purpose with Shay is all about, where we come together and look for people that have turned their pain into purpose using some particular thing and walking us through their journey to see, where they are, from the start of the journey to where they are at the moment, and being able to actually relate to them, what they've done, how they've done it, and help other people, to see where they are at the moment. So welcoming everybody. I'm so happy to have Kechi on the on the live show with me. Everybody send your love to her. It's so
Hello.
nice. It's so nice having you here. And we just go straight into it. So I know your story is quite, I was looking at your story and I was like, oh God, it's so loaded and it's got different parts, and things like that. But I just want us to tell us in brief who Kechi was before the crisis, who you were before the crisis, and let's start with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being a part of the set of inside jokes. But thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone as well for joining us. Let's start with my influences. So I grew up in your typical Christian family. My parents were ministers and they were also professionals. So they had a career and they were serving God. So I think that was my major influence. I think my path was going to be that way. I was going to
Hmm.
work hard, have a career, and at the same time serve God. I'd given my life to Christ at age. So um, that was exactly what I was doing. I was working. I'm a typical daddy's girl, so I followed his path. So I qualified as an accountant, and I was working in a firm up in London, and yeah, just really working hard on that. And I think in terms of where I was.
Hmm.
Um, I was consulting with a firm at the time, lots of projects. The
Hmm.
time, because we had to support users in different parts of the world, so time zones were different, which meant that my schedule was very packed,
Okay.
time wise. So I was very busy with that, but at the same time, I also was busy with ministry.
Okay.
Uh, whether it was music or whether it was leading in church or whether it was charity, I was in there. Um, because I do love people. I love people. I love to help people. I love to be there for people. So I was there if I could. And then I'm also a very family oriented person. So I
Hmm.
like to be there in the moment. I want to be there. And my family is quite spread out a little bit. So constant traveling. So it was, that kind of lifestyle, very fast, very active, doing life, doing all the expected things. Yeah, that's what you could say.
That's so you've been busy anyway.
Very busy. I was living life on a fast lane.
Uh,
Well, I mean, in a good way. I was living life
okay.
in a good way. But
Okay.
yeah, that
Okay.
was really, yeah, very active. Very active.
Good. Good. I'm just going to quickly welcome people and just check the sound. Instagram, are we good with the sound? And people on Facebook, are we good with the sound? I'm just trying to just check. We've just started. If you're just joining us, we're just starting with Nkechi. Please give me some signs if you're hearing us well on Facebook. Just trying to check the sound that we are fine. And Nkechi has just told us how she was. I would call her when we're talking. He obviously showed that you were a workaholic, busy in a
Yep.
lot of things that you do. And I like the fact that you said that you were a daddy's girl. You wanted to walk in the path. You've been in the church. That was your life.
Yeah.
And and where you've been. So moving with it in 2012.
Yeah.
Your life changed.
2012 was the
Yeah,
year.
was the
Yeah,
year.
my own personal COVID, COVID 12.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
2012, your life changed. And the way I saw it, I was like, it didn't just change in one way, because like for some of us, we're like, okay, our life changed in one way, we're doing COVID and we're here, but your life changed in multiple phases. Would you want to tell us, how it changed, the first part, the second part, the third part, and just and just tell us about that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I think, you know, thinking about that question, I had to step back a little bit and ask myself, when you're crossing over to a new year,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say from 2011 to 2012, I kept
Mm-hmm.
replaying the eve. Like, did I ever envision what 2012 was going to be like or how it was going to end? Definitely not. It was towards the end of the year, so like about summer, autumn
Mm-hmm.
2012. I had gone to see my niece off to college as I'd promised. If she did well, and she did, so I went to see her off to college in the US. And I planned that I was going to see, because my elder siblings live there, my brother and my sister. So I planned that I was going to see both of them during that time. Unfortunately, my sister took ill, so I couldn't see her. I had to stay to support her, so I couldn't see my brother. But the plan was that he was going to come over anyway to see mom, who was with me in London at the time. So it was okay. I thought, okay, I'll just take care of big sis, and then I'll see him later on. So I came back home. I remember this day very clearly. I returned home. It was just a normal day, went to work, came back. I had a meeting afterwards. So I was just at home chilling, waiting for my ride. And then the phone rang. Um, well, the landline in my house is mommy's phone. So, that's where she receives all her calls. Well, I'm pausing because I keep playing in my head the millions of ways that could have gone. I wish I took the call. That's just what I mean. I wish I took that call because I was there. The phone was ringing. And then she walked in and picked up the call. And then what happened was that um, the news came that my brother had suffered a cardiac arrest and had passed on. There was no. It all happened very quickly, and so just watching my mom received, and I couldn't hear what was going on obviously in the phone call, but just watching her was like watching a bad movie play out really slowly. The phone dropped, she fell, and I'm thinking, what's going on? So I picked up the phone and then I found out what happened. So, um, yeah, that was, would I say, the first heat
Mm.
um, of the season. And just for me, it was difficult because I couldn't believe what was happening because I was
Mm.
meant to see my brother. He
Mm.
was meant to come over. I couldn't make sense of it, but I think what made it worse was watching my mom, and
Fine.
I genuinely believe that the worst thing that can happen to any mother is to watch her child die or
Mm.
lose a child and her only son. Not that it matters if it was a girl or a boy, but yeah. And so obviously the shock, the way she took it, I was very concerned. So I decided to work from home to support her. I mean, thinking about it now, I could have also taken compassionate leave. I don't know why I didn't opt for that. But anyway, I had work to do. So I decided to continue work at home because, of course, I was a workaholic. I'm working at it now. but I was working from home to keep an eye on mom to support her because I mean she would go days she was sat in one spot, not eating, not showering, just in one place. So I had to be with her. Um, and then on one of those days, I woke up in the morning. I think it was a Monday. Of course, I can't forget it was a Monday because I'd been to church the following day, the previous day. It was a Monday, and I tried to get up. I was sleeping, so I tried to get up from bed, and I couldn't get up. I physically couldn't get up. So I thought, you know how when you sleep and then you wake up and you have a dead leg or a dead
Mhm.
arm. So I
Yeah.
thought that was what it was. I wasn't ready to stand up anyway, so I just slept back up for a few minutes. And then I got up and I really wanted to get up now and get on with my day.
Mhm.
I found that I couldn't lift, I couldn't move my legs. So I like really forced myself, like trying to like push my leg down so I could get a blood flow. You know how it works.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, but there was no response. I just had this really sharp pain in my back, and um, and that was really how this 7 year journey ensued. Really, and I realized I'd lost my mobility. Um, and then with that, over the years, many health complications along the line. But it was all unexpected, and that was really what happened in 2012,
Wow.
essentially.
Wow, wow. We're really sorry about the loss of your brother, and and we'll go into that, But one of the things that, when I was looking at that, especially when you were talking about the fact that your sister was ill, you had you said, oh, your brother would was going to come to the UK anywhere, and anyway, and you're seeing them, and it just kind of brought like a flashback to me. How many times we say, "Oh, I'll do that again. I'll see you. I'll do that," and we never get to do it. And prioritizing things that seemingly we think are important because you're going back because of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm right there. I understand how many times I've done it to say, "Oh, instead of calling mom, instead of doing that, I'll just go and just get it done,
Yeah,
and that's a lesson for some of us to learn, about things that are most important. I know sometimes we're taking a leave and we have to be responsible and all that, but sometimes we need to pull the call, and say what's most important here. And you also said it again, when you said I should have taken compassion leave and taken care of my mom, but you still decide to work from home,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that that for me, we've done it so many times, and how we do take things for granted, how we do take some of our family for granted, maybe when our kids and everybody come in and say, well, I'll see that, I'll do that later,
yeah,
and we never do, or we never have the opportunity to do that,
mm,
and for me, that's also a bit of being grateful, because some of us, and for some of the people that are watching online now, they've also done, I'm sure, some of those things that I will do that later and we never gotten, you
yeah.
know to get there. And just to also clarify, you did say that you woke up and you couldn't move. Just for our viewers, was
Hmm.
it you couldn't move your leg, you couldn't move your hand, or it was just your leg, just to make people know what that means?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I could move my upper body, but I couldn't move my lower body. So you get up, you sit up, and then you turn, and then you stand up. So
Mm,
I got up and I couldn't turn. I couldn't move my leg. I couldn't get it to move, and then I lay back down, and then I tried to get up again, and I had the sharp pain on my
mm,
lower back, but still no real movement.
movement.
Struggling to move. Let's put it that way. Struggling to
Yeah.
move.
Wow, wow, wow. And what you were saying, Nkechi, my heart actually goes to your mom,
Yeah.
because like you said, that's one of the worst thing that anybody would expect,
Yeah.
to happen to you as a mother,
Yeah.
and the question is, how did she manage, the situation during this period, because for her also it's like a roller coaster. Where she was, she just losing a son,
Yeah.
And within the same month also you couldn't move.
Yeah.
How did she cope with this situation at this? I know it's all about you. We still get there, but my
Yeah.
heart goes to that. How did she manage to cope during this period?
To be honest, several times I've asked myself the same question. I have to be
Mm.
honest, because obviously I was going through it. So
Mm-hmm.
suddenly it went from my brother dying to looking after mommy to Nkechi now being down. So I, in hindsight, I realized that in that moment, I couldn't even think about anything else. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't actually observing mom in terms of
Yeah.
how she was coping. All I knew was that she switched,
Wow.
you
As
know,
a mother.
as in thank you. And I think, I mean, we girls and our mothers, we have our things. Sometimes
Mm.
we're okay, and sometimes we're fighting. But sometimes when I speak about my mom, it's almost like, okay, are you the only person that has a mom? But
Uh,
it's things like this,
yeah.
moments like this, where literally she put aside her own pain of the loss of one child to deal with battling with the life of another child, at least the one she had. So I think
Yeah.
she was pretty much initially in survival mode, like I'm just going to fight for my child to be
Sure.
okay. And
Mm.
mom's a prayerful woman, so
Mm.
for the most part it was prayer and just being there
Mm.
for me. And yeah,
So grateful. I know she's watching. So great. So great. So
mom,
grateful. Yeah. So grateful. For
yeah,
that. And moving on, welcoming everybody on Instagram and on Facebook. You're welcome to our show. This is Nkechi. She just told us how her life had a roller coaster in the year 2012, where she lost her brother, and also at the same time she became immobile. She couldn't move the lower part of her body. But we'll be getting into the story, so you're joining us on the right time. In the right time. So, what was the doctor's take on what has happened to you? What procedures did you have to undergo? What did they call it? Did they have to
yeah.
undergo? What was their take on this?
I think initially it was because I was in a lot of pain as well. I was in a lot of pain in my lower back. So initially they thought it was sciatica. So that's when your nerves get trapped.
Okay.
So they thought that would medicate. So would use painkillers and then do some therapy, and I'll be okay in
Mm,
time. That didn't work. We saw the chiropractor, we went to the osteopath, we saw the orthopedic. So it just kept changing. So I think they were in a way confused. I mean, scientists never say they're confused. I think what was confusion for me was interesting for them. It
mm,
was new, in a sense, because it just kept changing. Things kept developing.
mm.
Then I eventually had a procedure on my back. I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, I was told you get to sign to say this could go either way. So
Mm,
you could end up crippled for the rest of your life, or it could work and you get better.
mm.
I This was now 6 months into being off
Okay.
work and not being able to do anything. So I figured, well, it's not like I'm doing a lot of walking now. So
Mm,
if there's an option to relieve my pain and
mm,
just take me out of the situation, then of course I'll take it. So I went for the surgery, and yeah, it didn't work out
mm,
at
mm,
first. It didn't work out well. In a way, I don't regret that because if I didn't try, then I'd never know as well. I could still be in the same situation and be going, I wish I had done this.
mm.
So I think it's just been a change in diagnosis. So,
Yeah.
from the muscular to the orthopedic to the neurological,
Mm-hmm.
where they say the body just suddenly loses its ability to remember
What
how
to
to
do?
do certain things.
Wow.
I remember asking because I had to have an electrical, it's like an electrical treatment where they shock you
Okay.
from trying to send signals from your brain to the parts of your body that they want to test.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there were delays. The
Okay.
nerves weren't hitting, and my body wasn't responding as planned. And I remember asking this doctor, okay, so how long do you think this will take? And I remember him saying to me, well, Kechi, if you ask me in 25 years, I'll be able to tell you. And I think that was the first time it hit me, what their perspective of what I was going through and how long it would take.
Mm.
Um, it was, yeah.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
And how did you mentally deal with the pain of not being able to go about your normal life?
Sorry, I'm just processing that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mentally dealing with the pain.
Mm.
I think that initially I was in denial.
Mm.
I think I was in shock.
Okay.
I couldn't believe that this was my life. I couldn't believe just what was happening and how the intensity of what was happening, the losses I was
Mm-hmm.
suffering physically. I mean, I'd gone from being super active to just try to imagine with me, like things I
Mm-hmm.
have in the shower, things like using the lady. I needed help for everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I think initially I was just in denial. I was fighting. I was in fight mode. I wanted a solution. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
get better. So I was very focused on the medical
Mm-hmm.
and getting better. And of course, we were praying and all of that. But I think that at some point, I think we're probably going to talk about it later, but at
Yeah.
some point, something switched because it wasn't working in terms of getting myself. All I wanted was to get back to what I knew,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
life before, to get my independence back. Um,
Nkechi, I'm just going to I was just going to pause you a bit because I'm
yeah,
getting some messages from Facebook.
okay.
Just bear with me, people, because just bear with me. I'm just quickly going to do this. I'm sorry about technical issue. What can we do?
So,
So just quickly do this. I don't know what's going on. Mm, come on. Sorry, everyone.
sorry, guys, we're coming back, I believe.
Yeah, just bear with me. Sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
Sorry, guys. We're just doing this on. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, Instagram is doing okay.
I don't know what's going on. Just bear with me. I might need to end this and start on Facebook.
That's okay.
Just